Do I need to call you the female version of Steph Curry, or do I need to call Steph Curry the male version of Caitlin Clark?
Somebody break down the release time, which is pretty much identical to mine.
Stephen A. Smith recently made headlines by comparing Caitlin Clark to NBA star Steph Curry, suggesting she has the talent to score in an NBA game.
I think I'll just be the female version of Steph Curry.
I mean, you hear people talking about you and throwing out those comparisons. Speak about how that makes you feel, about how you've just taken the world by storm because of your shooting prowess.
Yeah, I really feel like I'm still kind of in a dream, in a real world. I mean, it's kind of crazy, obviously. Those are the players I kind of grew up watching. Obviously, Steph Curry's kind of changed the game, and he's a player I grew up loving. I still love. I watch him all the time. So it's kind of crazy seeing all those NBA players, WNBA players tweet about you, talk about you, but you know, I still enjoy every single second of it for sure.
He highlighted her exceptional shooting and ball handling, saying, "I haven't seen any woman in college basketball shoot like Caitlin Clark." Paul Pierce also praised Clark, calling her NCAA performance the best he has ever seen, regardless of gender. This reflects the significant impact she has had in women's college basketball.
We saw a white girl in Iowa do it to a bunch of black girls. Well, of course. That made it like, oh, that gained my respect. That gained my respect.
I hear you. You're
like,
right.
That's like, oh, she didn't do this to some other little white girls that was over here in Colorado, wherever. She did it to some girls from LSU, who we thought was some dogs.
Defending champs.
And put them on their knee and spanked them.
Spanked them.
And so I know, but I didn't expect that.
As she continues to break records and set new standards, Shaquille O'Neal went even further, naming Clark the greatest female collegiate player of all time. Kevin Garnett, known for being cautious with his praise, also spoke highly of Clark on his podcast, Ticket and Truth. He noted her fitness and shooting skills, is stating, "If you're not in Steph Curry's level of fitness, that's how she plays."
You can't help but watch when she plays, where she's shooting from, the range, the confidence, the flair. Like, she's a performer. It's crazy though, just because her shot is like that, it's at that level. But if you really watch, like, her floor game is as impressive. So it's kind of the total package.
She could easily score over 10 points in an NBA game. Garnett's remarks highlight the growing recognition of women's basketball and Clark's role in it.
First time we got women's basketball ahead of men's basketball. If you ain't in the Steph Curry shape, that's how she plays, bro.
Right.
You
I think she can give you 10 points in the NBA game.
Nah, she gonna give you more than 10. She can shoot, and she got work, bro.
But it's still
what?
Athleticism from the men is overwhelming.
It ain't tough no more. You can't hand check.
The exceptional praise from these NBA legends raises questions about its validity.
You asked me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that player set it.
You women out there, y'all petty, man. Hey, LeBron, you're 100% right on these girls hating on Caitlin Clark. Y'all petty, girls. I expect men to be petty because we're the most insecure group in the world.
Oh, you are.
Y'all should be thanking that girl for getting y'all ass private charters, all the money and visibility she bringing to the WNBA. Don't be petty like dudes.
So for people to come at me and say that I made those comments because I'm a racist, like, first of all, black people can't be racist, but like, that's the farthest thing from my mind.
Caitlin Clark has received some of the highest accolades a college player can earn, and her impressive performances continue to draw attention, making her a key figure in discussions about the future of women's basketball.
The first Fever player to ever get a triple-double in franchise history. Congratulations on that.
The comparisons to NBA greats like Curry not only boost her status, but also inspire future players. Paul Pierce has been especially vocal about Caitlin Clark's impressive skills, particularly after her standout performance in Iowa's win over LSU, where she scored an astonishing 41 points. Pierce praised Clark, saying, "This was the greatest performance I've ever seen in the NCAA tournament, regardless of gender." His comments have attracted considerable media attention, partly due to his candid remarks about race.
We saw a white girl in Iowa do it to a bunch of black girls. Well, of course.
Pierce highlighted the contrast by saying, "We saw a white girl from Iowa dominate a team of black players from LSU who were defending champs. She really showed her strength." While his intent was to emphasize Clark's dominance, his choice of words has sparked debate about race in sports commentary.
Here's the reality. Tommy's right. It's not just race, though. It's also sexuality. Caitlin Clark is a white heterosexual woman in a black lesbian league, and they resent and are jealous of all of the attention and the shoe deal that she got.
Pierce's remarks touch on broader issues of representation and expectations in basketball. His enthusiasm for Clark's performance is undeniable, but it also brings up complex questions about race and talent in sports discussions. Adding to the praise, NBA legend Allen Iverson also commended Clark, saying, "Man, she shoots the blood out of the ball."
I think she's in the Mount Rushmore, obviously. I don't, Cheryl Miller, and I don't know all their numbers to know who
it's a
that
bunch
should
of them,
be,
man. You
right?
got Candace Parker,
that's hard to do.
and Cheryl Miller,
right?
And Cheryl Swoops. I mean, people be like, nah.
Generationally?
Yeah, she ridiculous.
She might be Allen Iverson in her era. She changed the game.
Well, she changed the game for
right. She
sure,
changed
like
the game from a culture of Steph Curry, yeah.
Iverson highlighted her ability to not only score, but also create opportunities for her teammates. Given Iverson's reputation for his own scoring skills and court vision, his praise further highlights Clark's potential to elevate women's basketball. Iverson's recognition reinforces the growing respect and excitement for women's basketball at the highest levels. Shaquille O'Neal, one of the greatest players in NBA history, has stirred up discussion by calling Caitlin Clark the best female collegiate player of all time.
When they played LSU, but she's phenomenal. I'm going to go on the record and say she's the best female collegiate player ever. Ever? Well, I don't know about you. Have you ever heard of Cheryl Miller? Ever. Maya Moore? I said what I said. Ever. Diana Taurasi? I said what I said. No disrespect.
Given O'Neal's legendary status, his endorsement is significant. Clark's achievements certainly back up his statement. She has dominated the Big Ten like no one else, leading in both scoring and assists for 4 straight seasons. Recently, she became the NCAA Division all-time leading scorer, surpassing Kelsey Plum's record with a stunning long three-pointer in a game against Michigan. On an episode of Inside the NBA, O'Neal praised Clark, declaring, "I'm going to go on the record and say she's the best female collegiate player ever." Despite some pushback from co-hosts Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith, who pointed out other greats like Maya Moore and Diana Taurasi, Shaq remained firm, saying, "I said what I said. I ain't disrespecting nobody. It's just my opinion."
No, she's like Steph Curry. I said. Yeah, you're right. Listen, I ain't disrespecting nobody. It's just my opinion, and I ain't gonna change it. How about that? You gotta change it. The stuff you don't know about basketball can fill up in the encyclopedia. Well, I know 4 times. Kids, y'all don't even know what a soccer.
Clark's historic performance has not only cemented her place in basketball history, but has also brought more attention to women's basketball.
You can always tell when it's a home game day for the Fever, because downtown Indy gets flooded with the number 22.
Just go down the street and you're seeing 22 shirts everywhere.
The number that belongs to the one and only Caitlin Clark.
I'm really happy I got to see her today. It was like a dream come true.
Her star power was on full display against the New York Liberty when Clark made history, not only for herself as a rookie, but for her team when she hit a triple-double, electrifying the crowd.
It's historic. It was pretty awesome. We're big Iowa fans, so we've been watching her for years, and it was great to see her live.
It was pretty surreal because we were watching TV, I think, the game before, and she got really close to it. I think she was like a couple of rebounds away, and I didn't think that I would actually be at the first one.
The Indiana Fever, led by coach Christie, have about 15 to 16 games left in the WNBA season, starting up again in 10 days. They're aiming to keep their strong performance from before the Olympic break, as they're in the playoff race for the first time in years. Rookie Caitlin Clark has been key to their success and is a strong contender for Rookie of the Year. Coach Sides compares her to WNBA great Diana Taurasi for her drive and improvement. Clark leads all rookies in points and assists.
I think the biggest challenge has just been the fact that we've only had like 24 days together. I think that presents a big challenge for our team, especially a really young team and an inexperienced team. So a team that's trying to find their chemistry and how they work together, I would say that's probably the biggest challenge for us. But I think as you've watched us over the course of the first 4 games, like from the first time we played Connecticut to this last time we played Connecticut at home, like there's been a huge difference in how we play and how we play together, and that's just within 4 games. So I think there's a lot of positives, a lot to build off of, but I would say that's probably the biggest challenge to us right now, having to go from, game, practice, game, and really those practice times you can't really do much when you're preparing for your next opponent.
However, there's been some tension between Clark and Sides. During a recent game against the Chicago Sky, Clark ignored Sides' instructions, leading to criticism from fans and analysts. Some think the team's issues aren't just Clark's fault.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously been a whirlwind. There, hasn't been much time to sit down and reflect on, the journey of the course of my college year and then coming right into here. So, it is what it is. I think just trying to soak in and enjoy every single moment. But yeah, it's definitely been a whirlwind. So just like one thing after the next, but at the same time, I feel like, that's kind of almost better. You just kind of get thrown into the fire, and that's sometimes the best way to learn too.
Caitlin Clark has faced scrutiny during her rookie WNBA season, with fans and critics questioning Indiana Fever coach Christie Sides' decisions, like timing on timeouts and player rotations. Despite this, Clark has shown with standout performances, including a 30-point game against the Mystics, and is a top contender for MVP and Rookie of the Year. However, the Fever, despite having 3 All-Stars, have underperformed, putting pressure on both Sides and Clark as they fight for a playoff spot. The Indiana Fever recently posted a video of a pre-practice scavenger hunt, which has generated mixed reactions from fans and basketball enthusiasts. Some, especially those familiar with college basketball or the NBA, view such activities as more suited to a younger audience rather than a professional team. Critics argue that team-building activities, like scavenger hunts, often seem like a misguided attempt by management to boost team spirit, with participants finding them less valuable compared to traditional practices. They believe professional teams like the Fever should prioritize serious training, such as game film analysis and fundamental skills, over these activities. Commentators suggest that instead of focusing on team building, the Fever should concentrate on improving offensive and defensive strategies, especially given their disappointing performance despite having 3 All-Stars. There's also criticism of Coach Christie Sides for not effectively creating scoring opportunities for Caitlin Clark. Observers feel the team should focus on core skills like ball handling and conditioning instead. Many believe that with the team's young roster, fundamental basketball training should take precedence over what some view as less serious activities. Critics have highlighted coaching decisions during crucial moments, such as the recent close loss to the Seattle Storm, as problematic. Issues pointed out include head coach Christie Sides' use of questionable lineups and ineffective player rotations. For example, keeping star player Aaliyah Boston on the bench for long stretches and playing 3 guards, including Wallace and Wheeler, simultaneously have raised concerns. Additionally, some matchups, like Wheeler defending Jewel, were seen as problematic. The general sentiment from fans is, why are they still playing carnival games? Many expect a professional team to prioritize improving shooting, conditioning, and overall gameplay over engaging in scavenger hunts. With the Fever's performance since the Olympic break being underwhelming, there are worries that they could finish the season below. Is professional sports starting to resemble preschool activities? Many fans are clearly dissatisfied with this trend. The criticism of current practices is not without merit. Professional sports organizations are expected to maintain a high level of professionalism. Legendary coaches like John Wooden, Phil Jackson, and Gino Auriemma never engaged in such tactics. Coach Christie Sides' approach has sparked debate about whether she embodies the seriousness expected from a professional coach. The concerns about her performance and the team's results are valid. This isn't just about complaining. There are real issues that need to be addressed. Activities like scavenger hunts appear to have little impact on the team's performance on the court. While some may view these criticisms as minor, I personally believe that this approach is not suitable for a professional setting. There are numerous areas where the Indiana Fever and Coach Christie Sides could focus their efforts, especially as they approach the playoff stretch. Given the current circumstances, if I were the general manager or owner, I would consider Sides' position precarious. Her coaching performance is under scrutiny, and the team seems to be playing not just for victories, but also to secure her job. Many believe that unless there is a significant turnaround, such as reaching the finals, her tenure may be in jeopardy. Caitlin Clark is making waves in the WNBA, transforming the league's landscape. Her impact goes beyond individual performance. She is a key factor in the increasing viewership and attendance at games. Fans are drawn to her dynamic play, creating a buzz around the league that hasn't been seen in years. Clark's ability to attract attention has revitalized interest interest in women's basketball, making her a central figure in this season's excitement. The last time the WNBA experienced this level of enthusiasm was quite some time ago. Caitlin Clark's impact is more than just drawing crowds. It's driving real improvements in the WNBA. For years, players endured less than ideal travel conditions, including long commercial flights and tight schedules. However, with the increased visibility and revenue brought by stars like Clark, there have been significant changes. Teams are starting to benefit from better travel arrangements, including more chartered flights. The boost in interest driven by Clark's performances is not only expanding the league's fan base, but also demonstrating that women's basketball can be as thrilling and competitive as men's basketball. So what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.